All right, let's get this Nitro thing on the road. The show now has a new open, which is Jarrett hitting somebody with a guitar.
This is their running gag. It's WCW
great.
Monday Nitro, December 4th of the year 2000. They're at the University of Nebraska. So they went to Nebraska Stadium, a huge building, legitimately seats 85,000 people for football games.
Grief.
There's 2 people in there. They go to this cavernous structure. It's huge. And there's one guy with a corn hat saying, "Go Huskers," and Jarrett walks by and waffles him with the guitar. That was wacky.
Mm-hmm. So, correct me if I'm wrong here. About a week ago, I added it all up. I watched more than 24 hours of wrestling in a week. Mm-hmm. So, if I forgot something, I apologize. Was Mayhem the previous Sunday? It wasn't the night before, right?
This is 8 days after Mayhem.
Okay.
2 nights.
That's what I thought. But then, there's all this stuff happening.
There's Mayhem clips.
There were Mayhem clips, and then later, DDP and Nash came out as tag team champions. Right. Were they even on the show last week as champions?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were?
Yes.
All right. I was like, did this just happen?
A lot of this felt like it was the night after Mayhem.
Yes,
and
they
not
were
8 days
booking
later.
it like it was the night after, but it wasn't. It was 8 days after.
8 days later.
All right.
Yes. It's 3 shows later. So the Thrillers are standing there waiting for their cue. The director gives them their cue. They begin to walk. They go up to Oklahoma. Dude. Because they're in Nebraska, They must get heat by bringing out Oklahoma. They go over their script that Sanders has apparently written for Oklahoma. Oklahoma wants security because, as he says, he's going to get a lot of heat. So they go, Oklahoma comes out in Nebraska, which looked like Full Sail.
Now,
like a small arena.
Before we get to this, they announced that tonight, the main event of the show, they announced the main event in advance. Scott Steiner versus Huge Erection.
Yes.
That's the main event of the show.
It was.
Which, when I heard it, I thought, what? But then they explained that he's the United States champion, and he has earned a shot at the World Championship.
Makes sense.
Fine. And the people were behind the erection.
It's better than being in front of it.
So, Oklahoma's out here killing time forever. Even the announcers are like, "You only got 6 minutes, guy." He's making 20-year-old college football jokes.
Let's cut to the chase. It sucked.
He says,
I wish I could have switched to Raw, but I already watched it.
He says literally nothing, and Sid comes out, or my notes.
Sid came out. God, I miss Sid and his music. This fucking music. It does not fit Sid at all.
But it's so good.
You know what I'm saying? You should have like Frankenstein music or
Yes.
something.
He
He comes
came
out into this fucking song. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a
very
love
generic-
ballad from the 80s.
No,
Kinda. It's got this weird fucking tune. So he comes
that's
out
not how I would describe the song.
and he hits this guy with the big choke slam. And then Sanders sends out the cops. They cuff him. Sanders tells him he's SOL. And we
know
have
what
to
that means.
watch them follow Sid all the way. From the ring, down the aisle, backstage, through the building, out to the car. I'm like, are you kidding me? At least we got to watch that and not more Oklahoma.
That's true.
But God damn, this took forever.
And the whole time, when the cops come out and cuff him, lead him back to the car, over and over and over again, the babyface announcers are saying, "For what?
Yeah.
For chokeslamming Oklahoma? Yes. It's illegal to chokeslam people. Don't do it. You'll get arrested."
When Sid came out to the ramp, he pointed at the ramp. He says, "I command you to stop." And I laughed and laughed and laughed.
Oh, first, Oklahoma says, "You're going to get such heat if you come in here." And then his next line was, in fact, "I command you to stop."
Hey.
That was the funniest thing Oklahoma ever did.
On Raw Monday, it was illegal to have your restraining order violated.
Oh, weird.
So Steiner meets with Sanders. He wants Sid tonight. Sanders says, "I'm sorry. I can't do that. Ric Flair had Sid arrested." What a puppeteer Mike Sanders turned out to be. Mm-hmm. And Steiner snaps and says, "You tell Flair nobody's safe, especially Flair." Pamela Paulshock and her giant red cowboy hat is interviewing the Filthy Animals. She announces Conan will be wrestling Jarrett, which sounds awful. Billy Kidman tries to be funny. He's the most not funny person I've ever seen in my life.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but this is pretty not funny.
Conan challenges Jarrett and the Heresies to a Filthy Animals street fight at Starrcade, but he won't tell them what that means. Chavo Guerrero Jr., not Lieutenant Loco, versus Kiwi.
That's right.
The MIA apparently broke up on
Well,
Thunder.
just Chavo.
Just Chavo. So Kiwi comes out. I'm pretty sure that Booker T saw Paisley in these pants and decided, I'm going to marry that woman.
Yes. I thought the same thing, actually, but then I realized I was already married.
Yeah, it won't work out too good.
Yeah.
So
Let's cut to the chase.
Chavo gets a chair. Paisley
Decent
takes
match,
it away. They keep wrestling.
impossible to care about. Chavo wins with a brain buster.
Yeah.
What more do we have to say about Kiwi versus Chavo?
Flair tells Sanders, you don't have the power to throw Sid in jail. Well,
apparently he does.
You're not paying attention, Rick.
Guy got arrested. He got sent to jail.
Flair says, I'm going to go get Sid out of jail. You get more security.
So, Flair's all over the show in every segment.
Yeah.
Where's the jail?
Who the hell
Attached to the building?
Maybe.
This stupid show.
Chronic is on the phone. They get orders to take somebody out. They're just sitting there, and it's Clark is on the phone taking the call. And he says, you got it, and he hangs up. He turns to Adams and says, wait till you hear who I'm talking to. Mm-hmm. Adams says, well, tell me. And Clark says, it's a long story. And he walks away.
Nice job.
And Adams is like, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Tell me.
We got nothing but time.
Gene interviews Rection.
This was very good. This was where Gene explained that he got a world title shot because he's the U.S. champion. Apparently the rule is if you're the U.S. champion, you get like one shot because Erection flat out says, this may be my only chance ever at the world title.
Might have been.
He says, I'm going to go out there. Don't look past me. Apparently he squished Tori on Thunder. He apologized for that.
It was an accident.
Says, don't look past me or I might upset you and become the new world champion. It was actually a really good,
It was a good
babyface promo hyping up a one-time only world title match.
Tori Wilson was on his back, and he backed her in the turnbuckle because he thought it was Shane Douglas.
Who knows?
Thought it was Shane Douglas.
If you say so.
Shane lost 150 pounds.
Exactly.
Well, huge erection is so strong.
I see.
A mere 100 pounds is no difference to him. So, yeah, he did a great job pushing himself as the dangerous but still underdog going into this championship match.
This Elix Crowbar hardcore match, oh my God. Oh my God. Lance is on commentary. Was this the match where Lance was on commentary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Kinda.
Lance...
And the cat.
Oh yeah, Lance and the Shad are both out there doing commentary. Lance's mic, like, half the time you can't even hear it.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Shat's just making fun of everybody. Daphne attacked Major Gunn. Storm tried to grab Shat. Hacksaw tries to hit Shat, hits Lance. Madden somewhere in here got choked.
Yes.
I presume by the Shat. Elix won, I think. I think I wrote, I quit. I'm over this.
You're having a bad day if you get choked by Shat.
Crowbar pin skipper with a gourd buster onto a car part.
Oh, whoop-de-doo.
there
Who
were-
gives a shit?
87 things going on. And then more Jimmy Hart DJ shit. David Flair and Stacy have the most awkward conversation.
Jimmy Hart...
I take back everything I said about Billy Gunn and China. They're a match made in heaven.
Jimmy Hart calls out all of the biggest DJs in the U.S., back when there were DJs.
Right.
And he says, if you want to fight me, if you want to wrestle me, he says, on Nitro, call World Championship Wrestling. Apparently your local phone book has the phone number
Go to
for
the
World
W's.
Championship Wrestling.
It's under wrestling, World Championship.
Yes. Then he says, but remember, I'm the guy who took out Andy Kaufman.
I'm the guy who knocked out Andy Kaufman. And then, and I don't know why this surprised me.
He laughs.
Well, that too. But he had a song where he is singing, I'm the man who knocked out Andy Kaufman.
Yeah. I just watched this Jimmy Hart promo, and they don't make him like that anymore.
No.
I'm not sure they ever made them before.
Well,
He was a one of a kind.
no, there were showbiz guys. You know the showbiz guys. They're like Jimmy Hart.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when we went and saw, what's his name, the singer guy? Looked like a wax
I'll never
statue.
forget.
What the hell was his name?
You're talking about Wayne Newton?
Yeah. Went to see
I was
Wayne
not
Newton.
there, but go ahead.
Okay,
Most
but
of it's
anyway.
plastic, to be fair.
Who'd I go with?
I have no idea. Dude,
was
you were in
Granny
your
there?
condo. That was like 20 years ago.
that Ed?
It was a long-ass time ago. Anyway, we went to see Wayne Newton, and it's just like, he's just, you can't imagine him doing anything except what he's doing on stage.
Yes.
And
like,
tanning.
you can't imagine Wayne Newton at the grocery store,
Wayne would never be a mechanic.
dropping off his kids at school or whatever. They just don't make him like that anymore. I don't know if it's good or bad.
And I agree with you. Jimmy Hart is in that category as well.
Yes.
He can never be anything but Jimmy Hart.
No. He sleeps in that outfit.
He sleeps in the sunglasses.
Yes, he goes. He drops his kids off at school with the megaphone.
He doesn't sleep in the wig, though.
It's not a wig.
It's not a wig.
What?
He went through. Go.
He got hair transplants.
Okay.
Go watch.
Him and Chavo. Who else?
Well, no. What the
Tommy Dreamer?
Legends House.
Okay.
There's a whole bit where he goes over his hair.
Okay.
Yeah. There was like a bunch of those guys. All got it from the same place, and they used it to like try to sell. I think they were like advertising for him or something.
Yeah, Chavo was.
Yeah.
Sure.
Interesting.
Anyway, Flair warns David and Stacy. Steiner's
Why is
crazy.
Rob so shocked about this? Why are you shocked, Rob, that people got a hair transplant?
I'm not shocked about the hair transplant. I'm still trying to process the idea of you going to see Wayne Newton in concert.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that is fair,
It was
actually.
awesome. He was the best. He was the best. I turn your mic on for that? All right, go ahead, Vinny. Rob gets all up on the mic. I turn it on, he goes... That's what happened.
Well, that's going to make the video clip.
What honestly, what else could I say?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, how old were you when this happened, by the way?
I was a grown-ass man, Rob. This was like 15 years ago. It was great.
I'm glad
It
you
was
enjoyed it.
awesome. I loved it. Go ahead, Vinny.
Flair warns David and Stacy. Steiner's crazy. He might kill you. I'm having security take you away. Reno
Did you go over what Stacy said, how she didn't want to lose him completely?
and something about I will
She
tell you who the
just-
father is, but not now.
She just wasn't ready to get married yet. I'm going to tell you who the father is, just not yet.
Yeah. Reno is flirting with Maria and her 8 sizes too tight T-shirt.
Good grief, this thing was painted on.
It was exactly the right tightness. I swear to God, I know, I'm telling you right now, there was a shot of Marie. Is it Maria or Maria?
Maria.
Maria. There was a shot of her, and I just thought, if you would have just played that shot for 2 hours,
Yes.
they'd have beaten Raw.
Okay.
I guarantee it.
There is a shot where she's running down to the ring.
Yes.
Not that one,
Oh,
where
it's
she's
not.
just standing there.
Well,
There's nothing wrong with that one either.
regardless, in the same
I'm positive it would have beaten Raw.
in the same very tight shirt.
Yes.
And I immediately determined, okay, who the hell is Maria from WCW?
We don't know.
And when I Google Maria WCW, the
Go to
first
Vito.
image is her running
yes.
down the ramp.
Yes,
course
yes,
it
yes.
So, she has
Look at
some
Rob.
story.
Dude, do your job, dude. You can do that later. Your mic's on. All right.
It's one for the bank, Rob. Don't worry.
Go ahead, Vinny.
I have never seen a couple. You two have worse chemistry than David Flair and Stacy Keibler.
You should listen to the Tom Show. Talk about dead air.
So
If I cut out all the dead air, it'd be a 5-minute show.
Maria's got some story about wanting to have her family back, and Reno just kisses her and says, "I got a match." Lex Luger comes out for a promo where he reads from Bill Goldberg's book about
my
Sarge.
God, how long did this go?
A long time.
He's in there reading this stupid book. Nobody cares. Sarge is in the front row. Like 8 guys try to start a Goldberg
Sarge
chant.
is the power plant trainer for those guys who don't know.
Yes.
Yes.
He buries him and says, let's hear it for Sarge. Then he acts like he's going to leave, and I'm like, thank God. But then he comes back and says, one more thing. This Sarge, he works 15 hours a day in the power plant, making minimum wage, living in a 3-room trailer while Goldberg enjoys his fancy cars and houses. If Bruce had trained me, he says, if I had a Rolex, he'd have a Rolex. Which the other announcers point out, I don't see a Rolex on Hiro Matsuda.
Yes.
This was so bad. This was Death TV.
It went 1,000 years.
Remember Faces of Death? This would have been on that tape.
I will note that if Sarge had cauliflower ears, he would look exactly like a mini Brock Lesnar.
He does look like a mini
yeah.
Brock Lesnar.
Absolutely.
So
There's a UFC ref that looks like him.
yeah, and then nothing happened. By the way, when all
No,
this is said and
nothing.
done. Yeah. Bill Goldberg then arrives, and one of the announcers just shouts out, 5 minutes too late.
Well,
That made me laugh.
hope he learned a lesson.
Norman Smiley is backstage with some woman bemoaning the fact he has to face Goldberg. He's not ready. Steiner appears. The woman runs away. Steiner says, who you got tonight? Norman says Goldberg, and Steiner says, not anymore, hits him with a pipe, and in hindsight, I have no idea why.
I don't know. Norman should thank him.
I guess, yeah. Shane Douglas does a promo, and he also refuses to say huge erection. He calls him Hugh Morris. Refuses to believe.
Hold on. I'm going to read what I wrote. I don't know why I wrote it. Maybe you can translate. Shane vows to lay Hugh Morris's ass up.
Well, that's more or less what he said.
Is that what he said?
Well, not in those words.
What does that mean?
It means what he said was he doesn't believe it was an accident for what happened to Tori Wilson.
Right.
He's going to put him in the hospital right next to her.
I see. He's going to lay his ass up. All right.
Not like knock him up.
Well, I know
that's
that.
completely different.
I never wrote a line like that before.
This is on you.
I was just reciting what he wrote, I guess.
It says, you took something near and dear to my heart, and the franchise will do the same thing to you. Kiss your U.S. title goodbye.
He took something. She's dead. She got squished in the corner.
Apparently.
I thought this was a really good promo.
Well, Shane Douglas is a good promo.
Yeah.
This is a very good, even by
I
his
didn't
standards.
appreciate him at the time. Because when he was in ECW, he swore all the time.
Right.
I thought it was just cheap heat.
And it was the same promo every week in
Yeah.
ECW.
Yeah, but actually he actually was a very good promo.
Yeah. General Rexon and the Wall are having a meeting. They see Lash LaRue talking to Chavo, and they call Lash to come over. He starts to come, and Chavo's like, no, hey, stick with me. And they go back and forth with him eventually, and eventually Lash leaves with the MIA. Mm-hmm. They're having a lover's quarrel, apparently.
Yeah, you can't talk to people we don't like.
He quit the gang.
Yeah.
Flair tells Arn Anderson and Fit Finlay, they're in the gorilla position, tells them, everyone who has a match, as soon as their match is done, get them out of this building so Scott Steiner can't kill them.
It's like Godzilla is coming into town.
But it's not...
Get everybody out.
It's not so dangerous to cancel the show.
Right.
Just as soon as they're done, get out.
The show must go on.
Yes.
But after that...
2 Count versus the Insiders.
All I wrote was an excellent, complete burial.
That's
Yes.
what happened.
Yes, they destroyed these guys. We want Hall chants. Fans didn't get the memo.
By the end of this, the Insiders destroyed these men. They hit their finishers. They pinned them both at the same time. And the place went nuts.
They did.
Somebody came off as a star on the show. Great.
Yeah, DDP and Kevin Nash.
They're 105 years old between them. Well, actually, probably more, legit, but...
Nash got the hot tag. 2 Count ran into him. He powerbombs Shannon. DDP cutters Shane. Nash pins both of them at the same time.
If it had just ended here, fine.
And Nash gave Shannon Moore a hip toss that he almost died on.
It was give him the Beal, where he was so focused on getting him high and far, he forgot to rotate him.
Right.
And he almost came down on his head. So the Thrillers come out. They also call out Flair.
So this segment here is just amazing because first Sanders makes a gay joke. Then he calls out Flair. Then he shows footage from Mayhem. Kevin Nash pinned the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Right.
You're really going to air this right after Kevin Nash pinned 2 men at the same time in a tag match? I'm like, God damn, is this that hard? And then Flair tells him to give the belts back. He says, you guys can get a rematch at Starrcade against the Thrillers for the belts. Sanders heads to the ring, and he's just got to get the belts. It's 5 minutes. There's no angle.
Nope.
There's no beating. He just goes as slowly as possible. They slide the belts to him as slowly as possible. I can't take it anymore.
My notes here
Do
read,
something.
Christ, this went forever.
Jiminy Christmas.
Now, so they're doing a match at Starrcade. So the perfect event hour of the tag team champs again? Do I have that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
This was just weird.
Mike Awesome is going through the parking lot in his leisure suit, talking about how cold it is, like Deborah, when Bam Bam Bigelow jumps out of an ambulance.
No, it's even better. He's walking through the parking lot, and the door flies open and hits him. You don't even know why. It's just like he walked behind an ambulance, and the door flew open and hit him, and he goes, ah! He's like selling it big. And then Bam Bam Bigelow jumps out of the ambulance. What in God's name was he doing in there?
Oh, no.
Did he drive it to the building? Is this his other job? Is he an EMT? He jumps out there, he beats this guy up, and that's it.
This is one of those things where when you're watching it, it just blends in with all the other crap on Nitro, so it doesn't register. And just thinking about this now, Mike Awesome is walking the parking lot in his leisure suit. He's cold, and Bam Bam Bigelow jumps out of an ambulance and kills him.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's funny.
It's ridiculous.
Reno comes out for a match. Then Chronic comes out. So, okay, somebody paid off Chronic to take out Reno.
Yes.
Right.
Fine. They start to do a match. The ref immediately calls for the bell. So, what was the match going to be?
Well, we don't know. The guy never came out. They just beat on this guy.
But Reno was fine with doing a match with Chronic. So was the match Reno versus Chronic?
No, I think Reno was supposed to have a match. Chronic ran in before his opponent came out.
Well, he didn't care.
Well, he's an idiot.
What a coward! What a heroic heel Reno is. So they get in there. The ref immediately calls for a DQ. I had no idea what was happening. Here's the shot where, first Maria is watching on a monitor backstage.
I think it's just Marie.
Whatever.
But anyway.
She's not around long, I don't think. She looks at the director, gets her cue, runs to the ring. A lot of that in this show.
At which point Manon just randomly asks, is she wearing underwear?
Yes.
What?
Well,
why did he ask that?
Well, she wasn't wearing a bra, obviously.
Actually, she was.
Excuse me?
She was. Trust me.
Well, she looked unemployed because there was no visual means of support.
Vito made the save, and then I wrote, and I quote, Marie runs to ringside, and I wrote nothing else.
Well, you're not wrong. So, yes, Vito saved his enemy, Reno, from Chronic, who was paid to attack Reno by somebody.
Well, maybe he's no longer his enemy.
So Vito obviously paid him off, right?
No, Vito is the brother of Marie.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he did, but
right, and Vito.
I think there's just...
And there's a Romeo and Juliet thing going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember, and I don't care.
Another Glacier video. This week, Shivani and Madden are laughing at him, but Hudson is refusing to... Now, he is a tough guy. The gimmick was silly, but that was a tough dude. Mm-hmm. Crowbar is happy to be he's happy to be working with Daphne again.
Yes.
And she's very excited and all aflutter. But then when he leaves his locker room, 2 Nitro girls follow him.
Right.
And she is heartbroken.
Oh.
And some tech geek comes up to get the crate she's on. She hisses at him. He leaves, and she hangs her head and sulks. Poor lass. Flair tells security he could not get Sid out of jail, so everyone backstage is in danger.
Security needs to split up and find this guy.
I didn't realize how funny the show was watching.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Ric Flair says, I couldn't get Sid out of jail.
Yes.
Therefore, we're all in danger.
Yeah.
So everyone split up. If you get in trouble, call for help.
We could not...
Think about this, by
This is
the
what
way.
I'm not making this up.
Sid got arrested for no reason, yet his bail is apparently so high that Flair can't get him out of jail.
He got arrested for chokeslamming a man.
Well,
assault and battery.
I guess you can't do that, Vinny.
No, I'm well aware.
This is like Mothra coming to the city, and they can't release Godzilla.
Here,
But there should
wrong.
be bail.
Sure, but not
That
quick.
bad a crime.
here is why I didn't realize how funny this was at the time. I wrote down, I am exhausted trying to type as fast as things are happening. So I was working so hard, it didn't register. Am I Smooth versus Goldberg? So Steiner took out Norman, so Am I Smooth could have a match with Goldberg instead. What?
Well, I don't think he did that. I think he just took out Norman, and then WCW was like, well, dude, we need somebody for Goldberg.
Get the limo driver.
Get the limo driver. He's not booked.
They briefly tried to work. It was terrible.
Yes.
And then
So they
Goldberg
shot.
Goldberg did actually. Goldberg shot on him. It was much better.
Yes.
Steiner is doing some curls and threatening Flair.
Goldberg did go hug Sarge afterwards. Sarge was a very important part of his career.
He's also 27-0 now.
Great. Jarrett is a promo.
Wasn't he 11-0 last week?
Oh, who cares?
I care. That's a big jump.
I think it was 20 last week, but still.
So he had 9 matches? They're not even running house shows.
Or 7, by my calculations.
What? I mean, it may as well have been 9.
Jarrett is a promo. Says, filthy animals, you call the Harris brothers hillbillies. I'd rather have them than your jacked up termite friends. He accepts the challenge for the trios match, which is funny because before he accepted it, they'd already put a graphic up announcing it. Between now and Starrcade, he says he's got a crap load of guitars. He'll beat all 3 of your asses like a bunch of piñatas. So Conan versus Jeff Jarrett.
It's all right.
It was better than I expected, I will say that.
Harris has helped Jarrett win, and that's it.
And the animals attacked, Jarrett went with a stroke, and that's it.
Yep.
Speaking of stroke, Steiner versus Huge Erection is your main event tonight.
Okay.
Fans are super into Erection. They were. Everything he did,
They were all over him.
they popped for.
No.
Oh, God.
Steiner does this crazy promo for the match.
We're salivating.
He says Flair has until the end of this match to present
Throbbing with excitement.
Sid Vicious, he says. Otherwise, I'm going after Flair.
Yes.
And if you want to know what kind of mood I'm in, stick around and watch what I do to this U.S. champion. How many times did Madeja interfere in this match right in front of the referee, and it was never a DQ?
Numerous.
Once she interfered in front of the ref to set up a low blow in front of the ref.
Yes.
So that happened, and for the first half of this match, it was just very, very slow. Mm-hmm. And then Hugh started to make his comeback. Actually, even before that.
And the crowd popped.
Steiner...
Yes. When
Steiner
erection came to life.
Sprung into action.
Dude, why do you stop? I didn't make this name up.
I'm aware. So Steiner has this turning belly to belly he does, which he does every match. It's like, oh, whatever. Maybe it's just because this is in fact a huge erection.
Sure.
It sure is.
This suplex was so awesome.
Yes.
As
He got it up. He got him up, I mean.
he got his hands on that erection,
Yes.
and boy, he knew what to do with it.
Yeah, he started by choking him.
So this is awesome suplex, and then
I love when people get mad at us for making dick jokes throughout the entire review. Dude, they named him Huge Erection.
and then
What in the absolute fuck do you want us to do?
and left him with that name after
Yes!
the guy who thought it up left.
Yes.
I'm not mad, Brian.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about other people that are like, more erection jokes. Like, his fucking name is Huge Erection.
Yes. So he hits a big pescado. He's coming back on Steiner. There's a big giant belly to back suplex. He goes to the moonsault. Steiner just barely kicks out. And Steiner's on the ropes, but he dodges a corner charge. He hits this exploder, suplexes him right into his head, does the big rabbit elbow to the back of the head, puts him in the recliner, and wins. Okay, this got off to a slow start and had a terrible gimmick, and there was all sorts of interference throughout. But the second half of this match was so awesome.
This is a very good match.
This is
Mark Madden yelling, "Fly, fat ass, fly," as Hugh Morris does a moonsault. I
Yes.
thought Mark Madden,
Yes.
Well, that
guy should have beat your ass after this show.
and he should have. It's hypocritical, but it was a line from a movie. It was from Mulk.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
So this was two big, scary mofos clobbering each other and throwing each other around.
Mm-hmm.
This is my favorite kind of wrestling.
Then the world champion, who just beat the U.S. champion, says, "I don't see Sid here. I'm heading back to kill Ric Flair. Your time is up. Your ass is mine." Starts heading back.
Yes. So he can't find Flair, so he decides to kill Arn Anderson instead because everyone else has been sent home per Ric Flair's plan. The announcers are pushing Arn's neck injury. He could be paralyzed with one bad bump as Steiner's tossing him hither and yon. And I'm thinking to myself, where's Flair and Goldberg and Nash and any hero? They did cut to the back where Fit Finlay was holding Ric Flair back from making the save. I guess because he's the CEO, he can't save his friend from death. Goldberg finally comes running out, but just as he gets to ring, Lex Luger broadsides him into oblivion.
It was awesome.
This is it was the exact same spot and almost as spectacular as Keith Lee and Adam Cole.
Absolutely.
So Lex is wailing on Flair and Goldberg, and he's wailing on him and wailing on him, wailing on him, and I can hear the crowd cheering for something, and I can't see anything, and I hear one of the announcers just say, "Sid!" But I can't see anything because I'm still seeing Lex. Eventually, we get to a wide shot, and Sid has somehow gotten out of jail and into the ring.
Somewhere in here, Dwayne Bruce gets a chair shot right to the head from Lex Luger. That's when all the security ran down. I guess security's still in the building.
Security jogged down very leisurely.
Yes.
This is the worst security. Like, they're horrible.
Sid is there, better late than never, runs wild,
And
bodies everywhere.
Sid and Steiner are being held back and trying to be separated. And just as the show goes off the air, they start to go at it again and fades to black. This was a better go-home show than Raw, and it wasn't a go-home show.
I haven't said this about a WCW show in a very long time. This is a great angle.
Yeah.
It was a better go-home show than both Raws.
Current and old.
2019 and
This
19.
is a very, very
2000.
fun main event and a great build for the pay-per-view in 8 days.
That's right. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Well, here we go.
The finishes on this show were clean pin if you ignore the guy trying to use a chair. Pin after all sorts of shenanigans in a hardcore match. Clean pin. DQ for some reason when two guys beat up one in what may or may not have been a handicap match. Clean pin. Pin after interference. and clean pin.
All right, everybody, there you go. That's the Retro Raw Nitro show. We do it every Tuesday here, Retro Raw Nitro. If you want to know the shows, just go back 19 years. So this was the week of December 3, 2000. And 4 months left, and then we're done. Then we can do something else. Thank God. So I'll be back tomorrow, Observer Live and Observer Radio. And then Thursday, Vinny and I will review AEW and NXT head-to-head. Back on Thursday, finally.
Yes.
Thank God. This
Yes.
Friday thing ain't working. And that's it, everybody. So check out the front page for more. That's it. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Adios.